If anti-drone tech is so advanced, why are cheap drones still everywhere on modern battlefields? Why don't militaries just hit them with an EMP, fry the swarm with a microwave beam, or just jam everything out of the sky? Because the real answer is a lot less sci-fi and a lot more interesting. Electronic warfare is absolutely changing drone combat. But most viral explanations of how it works are either incomplete, exaggerated, or just flat out wrong. And if you actually look at what's happening in places like Ukraine, you see something very different. Not a magic solution, but a constant adaptation race. Here's the reality. Counter-drone warfare isn't one miracle weapon. It's layered. Sensors, command networks, guns, missiles, directed energy, and electronic warfare all working together. EW is one of the most important layers because it attacks what drones depend on: signals. But the real question isn't, does EW work? It does. The question is, against which drones, under what conditions, and for how long before the other side adapts? Let's start with the biggest myth. Why don't we just EMP the drones? This one sounds intuitive, but it's built on confusion. People lump together nuclear EMP, high-power microwave weapons, GPS jamming, and electronic attack like they're all the same thing. They're not. A nuclear EMP requires a high-altitude nuclear detonation. It would knock out electronics across entire regions, friendly systems, civilian infrastructure, everything. That's not a tactical counter-drone tool. That's a strategic, civilization-level event. What militaries actually use looks nothing like that. They use RF jamming to disrupt specific frequencies, GPS spoofing to feed false navigation data, and in some cases, directed energy systems that target individual drones. These are precise, directional tools, not a dome that wipes the sky clean. So the issue isn't whether electromagnetic effects can disrupt drones. They absolutely can. The problem is delivering the right effect at the right range against the right electronics, without assuming every drone is equally vulnerable. Now let's move to the next one. Just jam the drone and it falls out of the sky. This one is dangerous because it's partially true. A lot of small drones, especially commercial ones, do rely on simple radio control links and GPS. Jam those, and yes, many will hover, return home, or lose control. That's real. And it's exactly why electronic warfare has become so central. But that's only half the story. Modern drones are being designed specifically to survive that environment. They can switch to inertial navigation, follow pre-programmed routes, jump between frequencies, use encrypted, hardened links. And then there's the big one, fiber-optic drones. By 2025, both Russia and Ukraine are deploying drones controlled through a thin fiber-optic cable that unspools behind them. No radio signal, no RF link. Control is transmitted through light. That means traditional jamming doesn't touch them. And here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. Electronic warfare isn't just defensive. When a drone operator transmits a signal, that signal can be detected, traced, and geolocated. In 2024, dozens of Ukrainian operators were killed after being tracked this way. EW didn't just stop drones, it hunted the people flying them. So no, jamming is not a death ray. It's a contest over dependence. The more a drone depends on vulnerable signals, the more EW can hurt it. The less it depends on them, the harder the kill gets. Next myth. Microwave weapons can wipe out swarms instantly. These systems are real. The US Army has fielded prototype high-power microwave systems like Leonidas. China has its own. They're getting serious investment for a reason. They can engage at the speed of light. They can affect multiple drones at once. And they offer a potential solution to a very real problem: cost. Because right now, the math is brutal. Shooting a six-figure interceptor at a $500 drone doesn't scale. In recent operations, the US burned through roughly a quarter of its THAAD interceptor inventory. That's not sustainable. So yes, directed energy matters. But the reality is more complicated than the headlines. These systems need line of sight. They need power. Atmosphere affects performance. Dwell time matters. Geometry matters. And not every drone is equally vulnerable. So the correct takeaway is simple. Yes, microwave and laser systems matter. No, they are not battlefield magic.
Now, zoom out. The side with the best electronic warfare wins the drone war.
This sounds logical. It's also wrong. Russia entered Ukraine with significant electronic warfare capability, GPS jamming, RF disruption, large-scale signal intelligence. And it mattered. But it didn't win the fight.
Ukraine adapted.
Encrypted links, frequency agility, fiber-optic drones, increasing autonomy. Russia then adapted back, using signal tracing to target operators. That pushed both sides toward drones that require less human input and fewer emissions. The result isn't dominance, it's a feedback loop. By 2024, Russia was losing around 1,000 drones per week. Ukraine was replacing them just as fast. Both sides were evolving in real time. So the lesson isn't that EW failed, it's that no advantage lasts. In modern drone combat, the side that adapts faster often beats the side that just fields the flashier technology.
So what does electronic warfare actually do?
At its core, it's about shaping the electromagnetic environment. It detects and classifies signals. It jams command links. It degrades or denies GPS. It feeds data into command networks so systems can identify and prioritize threats faster. In US doctrine, this is all tied together through networked systems like the Integrated Battle Command System, built on an any sensor, best weapon principle. The goal isn't just to stop a drone, it's to match the right response to the right target in real time. Because the advantage isn't just the jammer or the missile, it's the network that finds, tracks, classifies, and assigns the response.
And that brings us to what's coming next.
First, more autonomy. Some drones are already using onboard AI to identify targets based on visual or thermal signatures. No GPS required, no constant radio link. Jamming the signal doesn't stop the mission, it just removes human correction. Second, spectrum resilience, encrypted communications, frequency hopping, alternative navigation methods like inertial systems and terrain matching. Drones designed from the ground up to operate in a jammed environment. And third, directed energy becoming a real part of layered defense, not as a miracle weapon, but as a cost-effective tool alongside everything else. Because the real challenge isn't just shooting drones, it's figuring out in seconds what kind of drone you're looking at and choosing the right way to stop it.
So here's the bottom line.
Electronic warfare is not overrated. It is essential. But it is not magic. It can disrupt, deny, confuse, and degrade, sometimes decisively. But every advantage it creates triggers a response on the other side. So the next time someone says, "Why don't we just EMP the swarm?" the answer is simple. Because modern drone warfare isn't a movie. It's a layered contest of signals, software, networks, and constant adaptation. And the side that learns fastest usually wins. If you want more breakdowns like this, real capabilities, no hype, subscribe, and drop the next myth you want to see unpacked.